soleil se lève, il y a la paix dans nos cœurs, le soleil séchera nos cœurs.
I could do it one and
No,
one.
that's good though.
Just like
That's great.
Welcome back to another episode of my Tiny Mic Sessions. This is a new interview series where I go all around Montreal with my tiny mics and I interview people that make music happen. And today I am joined by Sherry Ann from Sister Speak and Matt Stern, who are both musicians and who are currently in Montreal making music. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to meet with me today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're going to try to do a bilingual interview today. Donc, je vais demander ma première question en français. Je voulais vous demander en premier, étant donné que vous deux, vous êtes des musiciens qui ont habité soit ici et à Vancouver, au BC, soit un peu partout, genre au BC et aux États-Unis, Californie, San Diego, etc. Comment vous faites pour rassembler votre identité pour que ça soit cohérent, même s'il y a plein de différentes influences?
Bonjour, merci, bonsoir. Chaque endroit a fait une influence dans ma musique. San Diego, musique de monde, reggae, and Chicago, the blues music, Vancouver, Victoria, Okanagan, a little bit more roots music. And Montréal, électronique.
C'est vrai. C'est vrai qu'il y a une grande scène électronique. It's true. We've got a lot of that, actually.
Oui, en Berlin aussi. Je suis allée à Berlin, beaucoup de temps. Et j'aime beaucoup la musique de blues à Berlin.
C'est vrai. You ended up doing a tour, right, in Berlin, in Germany?
Yeah. Just this last summer, yes.
That's so cool.
And Portugal for the first time ever.
Ooh. Okay, we'll definitely get back to that, but I want to hear from you, Matt. So comment est-ce que tu es capable de joindre les deux espèces d'identités pour faire un projet musical qui est quand même cohérent?
Mais c'est un peu comme Sherry-Ann, je trouve que je suis influencé par chaque endroit où j'habite, où je visite. Mais je trouve que aussi quand j'habite à Victoria, le fait de chanter plus en français comble un vide que j'ai un petit peu, parce que je peux pas utiliser le français autant là-bas. Ouais. Alors c'est ça que je trouve le fun et aussi un peu ironique que quand j'étais ici, quand j'ai grandi ici, j'avais plein d'influences, mais je chantais à peine en français. Mais
tu chantais plus en anglais quand t'étais ici?
Beaucoup plus, ouais.
Ok.
Mais une fois que je suis arrivé là-bas, je me suis mis à chanter plus en français parce que j'avais ce besoin-là.
C'est comme une espèce de... Ça permet de définir ton identité, d'être comme, ok, mais j'ai aussi quelque chose d'autre.
C'est comme compléter mon identité, disons, parce qu'il y a plein de facettes, tu sais.
That's actually really smart. J'ai l'impression que moi aussi, dans ma musique, je sens le besoin un peu de comme... Ben, pour moi, c'est peut-être pas exactement pareil, je sais pas, mais pour moi, c'est un peu l'idée de comme démontrer que j'ai aussi ces racines-là.
C'est ça.
D'un côté comme de l'autre, je suis comme, ouais, mais j'ai des racines francophone, puis il faut que ça apparaisse, même si je chante de la musique en anglais. Ou etc.
C'est ça, tu veux jamais être trop dans une boîte trop étroite.
Exact, c'est ça.
Parce que t'es plein de choses en même temps.
Can't put me in a box.
No, that's it.
Forbidden. Also never in a box. Which is something that I find very interesting, and I wanted to ask you about. How do you, like, not only, I guess, country-wise and province-wise and city-wise, but also genre-wise, like, I couldn't really put your records, any of them, in a box. They're all different, but between each other.
Right.
You know? Like the EP with the blue cover.
The Stand EP.
Yeah. That one's so different than everything else. Like, I don't know. How did you pick what happens when?
You know, I get really deeply inspired by different genres at different times, and in that way the music evolves too. So my inspirations evolve essentially with the music. And I mean, that first record was very much like more of like an Americana alternative.
I was gonna say there's some like classic rock in there that like nice like
gritty.
Yeah.
Like gritty 90s influence probably. Yeah, so and then after that one I wanted to go in a totally different direction and actually come up with like a folk electronic album. And cool. The Serendipity was that in the end. And then the next record, Love for All, is kind of our festival set. So when we tour, like in Germany, we play with a full band. And we played in Montreal, Kitty Broom. So fun. And it's a bit of a different sound with the full band. So I wanted to capture that. We have a live album as well. And I hadn't actually gotten that like really like more the like reggae kind of vibes, music vibes until this last record. Yeah. Love for All. And then in the new album, it's like, okay, let's go right down acoustic, like how it all started. But after having put myself through all these uncomfortable situations where I was playing with people that were way more skilled than me, had been playing way longer than me, and I was like just pushing literally outside of a box of my own belief in myself, and it was expanding everywhere I've lived. It's brought out a new genre, a new belief in the music. So yeah, it's been really fun.
That's so cool.
It's been really fun.
I love that. And I wanted to ask, actually, you mentioned the new record, and you guys mentioned that you have a song together on the new record, right?
Yeah, we do.
And so I just wanted to, while we have you here, Matt, I just wanted to hear how it came about, how the duo, and like what the vision behind that song is.
How about I talk about how it came together and you talk about the song?
Perfect.
It's such a serendipitous encounter. Sharon's brother owns a tea shop in Victoria. It was one of the first places I discovered like a haven to go have matcha. And so we became friends, he and I, Jared. Jagasilk. It's a hidden gem, not so hidden actually anymore, but like it's a perfect destination. And he early on talked to me about his sister who played music, and when we met, it was just like we're instantaneous musical kindred spirits. Like in some of the ways that we've been talking about, just like playing any genre, just wherever the inspiration takes you.
That's awesome.
And kind of dreamers. I think we were just talking about that yesterday. So it's just very seamless just to start playing music together a little bit, and we did a couple shows at Jagasilk. And then I guess Sherry-Ann will talk about how the song came about and how she asked me to sing on it.
So actually I was so excited about that music series we did in Victoria. I came home from California. I had 24 hours to decide in 2020 where to go.
Before the lockdown? Is that
and before the border was closing. So this was back in 2020.
That's terrifying.
I know. I was like, so I literally packed up everything in California in 24 hours. And made it back to BC to kind of figure out what was going to do next. And I found myself getting so antsy to play, and my brother encouraged me to do a Patreon, which I was grateful for. And then we started this music series that we followed all the guidelines, and we started it in the fall of 2020, outdoors at Jagasilk.
Playing in front of plexiglass.
Yep.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah.
No one could stand up. There was a huge fine if people would get up.
Yeah, we had so many restrictions, but everybody was just down to be there and be part of it.
When that's all the music you can get, you take it.
We were desperate for it.
It saved me mentally. I gotta tell you, that series really, because I could not imagine. We literally played throughout all of the fall of 2020, maybe all of 2021, and in that time, I was like, I really love French, and I love French music and French culture. Like, I'm in Canada right now, and there's an opportunity here to actually connect with also my I have two dads and a mom. My dad, as of like when I was 9 years old, he has roots here in Montreal. So I was like, what if I'm reconnecting with those roots too a little bit? You know, I came home to BC and reconnected with the roots of my family over that time, and I was thinking about I was in Victoria and was like, gosh, it's just a no-brainer. Like, put out a French version of Love for All. I wanted, when I wrote, when that song came to be in Berlin, I wanted to do a German version, a French version, at some point a version with an indigenous language.
Oh my god, that's insane. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, and so I was like, well, let's do this. You're here, Matt Stern's amazing, and we get along so well. And actually ended up applying for a grant, and I didn't know if it would come through, and then it did.
That's awesome.
So I was like, Matt, are you available? And it just, our schedules just kept aligning. Ended up with an amazing team on the record. Elisa Peng sang, she co-produced it with Eric Nielsen. He's the bassist of one of my favorite bands, City and Color. And, together, and Elisa and Matt and I were in the studio.
We had a really fun recording session, the three of us.
Oh yeah.
It was so funny.
It's
what,
fun
did
because
something weird happen?
well,
You guys are like laughing.
We're
I'm
just
not in on
feeling
this.
because none of us speak French as a first language, right? It's my
Yeah.
second language. J'ai grandi dans des écoles d'immersion française. So
Yeah.
we were all kind of like, Sharon was asking my advice about the pronunciation. I was like, I think maybe. And then Elisa doesn't speak French as far as I know, but she's a producer and she had really good insights about like the delivery and the phrasing.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
she's like, this is what I'm hearing, Matt, but does that work in French? So like we were all complimentary, like between
Yeah.
the three of us, we
Yeah.
made it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was sending the lyrics to my friend here in Montreal,
Yeah.
who grew up francophone. And I'd send it to my friend in France, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
I'd be like, is this okay?
yeah, like, is this alright? How's this? We're like, oh, you have a BC accent. And
Oh, that's
so
cute though.
The French is okay. Like, yeah.
That's good.
Everyone was really supportive. There was this whole thing going on, and I just was laughing because it was like the last part of the recording, actually, I think it was just me and Elisa. Elisa and I were trying to match Matt, like, exactly.
Yeah.
So we have my accent is your accent a little bit.
Aw.
You know, like when I recorded in French, I asked like 8 different friends with all different accents to kind of like listen and give me.
shows, yeah.
And they all had kind
Yeah.
of different takes. It's really subjective, right?
That's what you were telling me to do too, and that's I'm so glad you gave me that.
Because you got
advice.
different feedback from different people, right?
Yeah, even in the translation, it was like a little bit from my friend from France, a little bit from, and then you helped me so much with that.
That was fun. It was
Yeah,
fun.
some of the lyrics are a little different in the chorus.
Well,
which,
yeah,
you know,
because I find that when people try to do direct translation,
It sounds
it
super
never,
awkward, right?
it never
Yeah.
actually translates the meaning. Like, sure, the words are translated, but you don't actually get the soul of the song. Like, you have to mess around with it a little bit at least.
Because
you
it's
know?
poetry, right? Your lyrics.
Yeah.
It's like you can't just, like you say, it won't work. It's not a 1-to-1 ratio, word to word.
Yeah, it really has a special meaning. So this song, the difference in the lyric from the English to the French is like, it's like, there will be peace in our hearts, the sun will dry our tears. And it's like, the original lyric was, that's like the English,
That's the French version.
Should we
that you
just sing the
described.
chorus?
Again?
Should we just sing it real quick?
Sure, yeah.
Let's do it, just so it's like, in case you want to.
Yeah, sure, I'm down.
Okay, so we could do one French, one English chorus.
Ooh, I got it. I'm into it.
1, 2.
Quand la pluie tombe et quand le soleil se lève, il y aura la paix dans nos cœurs. Le soleil séchera nos pleurs. Maybe when the rain it falls, maybe when the sun comes out, there will be peace in our hearts. What are we fighting for?
There.
I
There's
love
the
it. I
chorus.
love
I
it.
probably just pronounced something a little bit.
But yeah, that demos it that the meaning is different, right?
Yeah, a little
Slightly.
bit. Just slightly.
I do like the "What are we fighting for?" I think that's like a nice. That's a nice lyric. I like.
Yeah, yeah, that was actually a really hard one to translate into French. So we have in the background like a little bit of a English French together at one point, and where we literally say that one line in English as well.
Yeah.
At some point in the song, and then in French as well.
Are you
but-
keeping the English title?
Actually, this is something we talked about a lot. We were talking about what the title could be, and we came up with L'amour partout.
Oh, partout.
Maybe you could say it a little bit.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to remember the discussion because it was going to be l'amour pour tous.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you weren't sure about like pour tous or pour tout.
Oh, you're
that kind of
right,
thing.
yeah.
Because
So-
it's not. It's very. it's not very female inclusive. Is that why?
It was just like, what's something like in English, love for all is like, okay, love
It's
for
like
all.
as universal
there's
as
no
possible.
Gender. Yeah,
That's true.
Which is like, I'm still learning everything, but I'm like, we were talking about like, how can we say it
In a genderless way.
Yeah, because a lot of the translations are already. So I was just curious if there's an option, and you were talking about
L'amour partout totally works.
Okay, good.
I agree. That's like love everywhere.
Yeah, because actually the Japanese translation, as we have a on the back of the album. Actually, I'll grab it real quick. I don't want to get too out of the way, but I might as well grab the album that.
Because that's kind of still a new discussion in French, right? How to do gender, how to be gender neutral.
And it's actually pretty tough because
It is.
everything is gendered. That chair is gendered in French.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
that's tough.
Like you can't speak if you don't know the gender of someone or something.
Yeah, exactly. You're like le la le la le la.
that could be a song in itself.
Yeah, like you just quote Shakira.
La, 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 la. The French version.
Yeah, exactly.
Shakira sung in French too, actually, fun fact.
She did.
I've
I've seen it.
Ooh.
It's cool. She's good.
Yeah.
She's really good.
Oh,
Do you want to show the class?
Oh, this is the album, the vinyl, and il y a beaucoup de translations.
C'est bien.
We want to get a whole
Lovely.
poster of like 100 different ways to say love for all. Yeah, and slightly different translations depending on the language. So that's
nice.
yeah.
I like it. Oh,
So,
that's awesome. Well, Matt, you do have to go.
I do. I have
You
a dinner
some
date.
obligations to attend to, which is fine. But thank you so much for taking the
It's
time
so great
to
to
be with
meet you
us.
and to be here.
Oh my God, your Roomba.
oh, it's the
Okay, the Roomba's trying to join the interview.
oh
We
my
can't
gosh,
get
is
this
it
guy.
actually going?
Yeah, look. It's
I didn't
like-
even know we had this.
That's
yet.
what happened when I got here. Cheyenne left me a key and she wasn't here, and I was
And the
just
Roomba
in the
was
room.
going off.
The Roomba, something like a noise started, and then the Roomba like came into my room. I was like, "What the hell is
The
up?"
Roomba came.
Yeah. Should I give you this mic?
All right, so everybody say bye, Matt.
Bye everyone.
Bye.
Salut tout le monde. À la prochaine.
Ja, matane.
Matane.
We spoke about this earlier, but the multi-genre thing, like the overlapping different styles of music, really spoke to me, and I think the fact that you're also just so open, like also having met you now, I just feel like it's very hard to get together with other artists and have this like nice synergy. Sometimes it can be difficult, and I feel like this is very nice and supernatural. So anyway, thanks so much. The first thing I wanted to ask you in this segment is I actually want to know what's behind the name Sister Speak. I couldn't find it. I tried to find it. I couldn't find it.
Okay. I agree. It is hard to find like just like really supportive musicians too.
Yeah.
Sometimes. You just never know.
That's true.
So it's really nice to meet you. Enchanté. So the name actually a while ago, probably a decade ago now, I was doing a tour with a friend, and a friend had come up with this showcase called The Woman's Voice.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, what would it be like if we had a name that was kind of like that? And at the time, I just really felt like there weren't a lot of female musicians that were really getting a lot of opportunities, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It was kind of tough that way, and I was thinking, what could be a name? And my bandmate at the time misheard a U2 lyric,
Okay.
and we thought that Bono said "Sister Speak,"
Uh-huh.
but it was actually, I think the lyric was "Cease to Speak."
Cease to speak.
The opposite.
Which actually like is the antithesis of what you want it to be, but
I know. So yeah, it ended up being the name, and I carried it forward as a recording alias.
Mhm.
I've had a lot of different combinations over the years of Sister Speak, with different musicians collaborating with the project. Very grateful for all the different input in different places, really.
yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
yeah,
very nice.
That's
Okay, cool. Sweet. And yeah, I was gonna say the main constant in the project is you. Like you are basically Sister Speak, with people coming in and out of collaborating with the project itself. Is that the way it works
true.
usually?
Yeah. So when I play solo, it's still Sister Speak.
Mm-hmm.
acoustic.
Yeah, true.
And then when I play with the full band, it's also sister speak.
Yeah.
And we will, we'll specify. I think of it like, I think of artists like, well, City and Colour is a very famous Canadian example.
Yeah.
Sometimes City and Colour tours acoustic solo, sometimes with a full band.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of other acts like that as well.
Mm-hmm. Is that a model that you always had, or did it kind of just happened?
I thought about it, actually. I didn't really want to go by my name, Sherry Ann, in music. Okay. I don't know why. But,
fair. You don't have to have a reason why.
I did earlier on, and I guess it was just fun to have a band name.
It is, yeah.
Even if you're solo, why not?
True.
It's like a stage name, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So you're also, I guess, in charge of all the promotion, do you have a team with you, or are you doing this all by yourself?
Yes, so I do have a team. It's sometimes in certain regions I do things more on my own, and in other regions I have people help out with booking.
Okay.
Sometimes, people help out with videos. There's a natural organic team that's formed around the project, which I'm really, really grateful for in different places. Really, anything you see online has been essentially a miracle. This is
What do you mean?
This is, any of the the major in my mind, music videos, things that we did with the full band, the Stand EP music video, all 4 of the albums that we have out. They all took every ounce of energy and belief that I had in my body to make that happen. There was so much support in the communities in San Diego and BC, even in Germany, to make all this happen too. A lot of other places as well, Chicago, in Vancouver. It's been a real journey with really, I'd say, like a people-powered project, to be honest. I don't have a major label. And I'm really grateful for all the opportunities that we've had. And it's people that come to the shows and follow the music and tell their friends about the music that make this a sustainable thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's tough to be able to maintain a project for a long time and keep believing in it and having it grow and, keep, I guess it's luster and it's like the vision of it for a long time. I think I was looking on, and maybe I'm getting the dates wrong, but I think the first thing that I saw you releasing was in 2014?
Yeah, so our debut album was 2014.
That means you're making your 10 years of running this ship.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I was super grateful for that album. That was life-changing.
Yeah, how did that happen, the first one? That's always a big endeavor.
Yeah, right? Actually, that was the dream, was how do we come up with the first Sister Speak album? And that, so actually I was heading to a showcase. It was during South by Southwest, driving with a friend. And I ended up, sadly, I broke some bones, got out of a moving car. Don't ever do it. It's not, do not do it, please. Yeah, so I ended up with an injury that brought me back to Vernon, BC for almost 2 months.
Okay.
Where I healed, and I broke my pelvis, actually.
Oh my god, that's one of the worst fractures you could have.
It was intense. So I was home, and the only thing I could do was actually hold my guitar.
Yeah, because you couldn't get up?
I had to have help to get up, and then once I was up, I could brace myself on the guitar and play guitar.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Okay. So that's when
there was a lot of practicing during those 2 months.
It wasn't just practicing, because I was also going through a breakup.
Oh god. Girl, that sounds like the worst year of your life.
It was the hardest time that I can recall.
Yeah, I don't want that.
No, I don't wish it upon anybody, and I don't think that needed to happen in my life necessarily. The combination of everything at once. But at the same time, I ended up writing a lot. And I wasn't just writing. I'm telling you, my parents would go for a walk, because my mom was looking after me. She's a nurse. And helped nursing back to health, and my dad too. And I was just yelling when they were on those walks. There was in the house. I'm just a lot of those songs on that Rise Up for Love album, Say You Will, for instance. I'm just screaming in the house.
Yeah. You gotta get it out somehow.
Singing these songs they're just coming out of this vortex of some kind of existence of, I don't even know what kind of emotions I was going through, but it was like vulnerability like no other.
Yeah, and putting that out for the world to see is also a big move.
Yeah, so we ended up doing a Kickstarter down in California, and people came through and they supported that first record to come out.
That's awesome.
I ended up finding an engineer down there named Alan Sanderson. He worked with Fleetwood Mac and Elton John and had all this experience with acoustic artist Fiona Apple. And then the mastering engineer, I cold called one of my favorite sounding, the engineers for one of my favorite sounding records, Black Keys.
Okay.
Brian Lucy mastered it. He's in Los Angeles, and that team, it was the start of essentially a sustainable music career.
Yeah.
Just coming out with that record and with that team, and then to have the songs like have a home after everything that had happened.
Yeah.
It was really a miracle in my mind.
And how did you manage to get that record to be heard? Because if you're coming out of the gate with a brand new project, brand new music, how do you get it out?
Yeah, that is always the challenge, right?
Did you start with like live shows? Was that the first thing?
Yeah, so I've been playing live for a while already. So, but touring has been really the way that I've gotten the music out there all along, even if it's grassroots touring.
Yeah.
And music videos and playing in the local community, going to shows. I love going to shows. Yeah, that's been really playing out has been the main way.
Yeah.
We did have a publicist that, as part of that Kickstarter budget for that first album, and we had a publicist, and we did a radio campaign for that one in particular. Yeah, and then kind of learned how to do our own campaign with the team that we have for the next albums a little bit.
Yeah. So you used that kind of first experience to gather a bunch of knowledge for later use, I guess.
Yeah, and we still like still collaborate with people. Like honestly, this project can't be done alone, even though I am booking a lot of things on my own. When it comes to like, I can't film everything. I can't edit.
It's hell.
Yeah, like music licensing, I check out when that topic comes up. And thankfully we did find someone in Vermont. I actually got one of our songs from this record placed this year in a movie. So
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that was like
awesome.
A fluke, I feel like that kind of stuff. Like, I mean, it's funny, I'm in Los Angeles all this time, and then in Vermont I meet somebody.
yeah, to get your song in a movie.
In a John Travolta movie, it was so special, but these things don't happen overnight, It's been a lot of working really, really hard and challenging myself outside the box we were talking about.
Absolutely. Yeah, and like all those, something that also stood out to me was how much touring experience you have, to be completely honest. That's the thing that I was like, as an independent artist, it's much more, I mean, the onus is on you to get that together, mostly, usually. And so, what would you say, do you have any do's and don'ts of touring? I feel like you probably have like a good amount of like experience at this point that you could tell me something I shouldn't do and something I should probably try.
So the biggest do for me is like communicating with the group. Like, hey, like if you're down with this, awesome. If you're not, that's okay. There's lots of other bands.
Yeah.
I'm not.
So you're being like also selective about the people that you tour with.
Yeah, like I'm not here to change anybody. Like everyone has their own process. So yeah, but that's the big thing is like I really, really do like to have a healthy environment around me, and sometimes I even just tour solo in new places to check it out. Also, do's, I would create a momentum piece, an anchor show in every region that you're going to, something that kind of like funds that region.
Okay. Yeah.
Something like a festival or a house concert, or some regions have really nice music in the park circuits. Yeah. Like mountain towns, have summer music series events. Those anchor shows allow for all sorts of other shows to happen that may or may not have the same kind of budget. Yeah. But they get you there to that place. So I book all tours around anchor shows.
Yeah. So you'll have like one gig that you're like, this is the nice gig of that area, and you work around it.
Yeah, because you never know. Like sometimes even these like opening for national acts can be really, really special, and it can happen. And sometimes the budget is not quite as much as like a music in the park event.
You never know. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Know? And they both could be really fulfilling in different ways. So I really think about that. Like, do I like have to be always thinking about playing more of like national act venues, or do I mix it up? So I just, I gotta be able to cover everything and have great players on the project that'll learn the music and the emotion of the music. That's a big deal for me.
Yes.
People that will respect the woman, the music, respect
the woman.
Respect the woman. Actually, that's the thing too. People that are comfortable with having a woman front the project.
Yep.
And directing.
That's true. Because you have to. It's your initiative. You know best what Sister Speak needs in the end, you know?
Yeah, and I've luckily found an amazing group. And these last 2 years have been the most amazing touring years of my entire life. And it's taken 8 years to find.
That's what a lot of people have been saying. That, like, you just have to keep trying new things until you kind of fall into a nice cycle. I feel like that... I keep being told that, and I have to internalize that, because right now I'm like, why is nothing working on the first try? You know, I'm still in that, like, you know, I'm still like in that like angry toddler era, I think, of my journey. I'll wean off of it for sure at some point, but
I think that happens though. That happens is I think everybody I talk to, like,
you also get angry toddler.
Whatever level it is, like friends I've talked to that haven't picked up by like a major label, like. And sometimes they stick with it, sometimes they drop. Like, there's the angry toddler thing is just part of, I think, different stages of a music career in general. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Like, I have a roller coaster going on in my mind.
Every day is different. I wanted to kind of close off by asking you what you see in the future for Sister Speak. Is there anything that you like have in your mind that you haven't explored yet that you'd like to try? What you know, what's up, what's new, what's next?
Well, I'm super excited to release this new acoustic EP. Something new is that I haven't done that yet. I actually haven't done a full acoustic tour before. I've had...
Now's the time.
I mean, I've done a lot of touring, and I love playing with the band too. So that's exciting as well. I will always keep that. That's a dream come true. I will forever be grateful for my band. And I really am excited about playing some of these more intimate songs. I'm not really the most open person about my personal life, and in this next record, you know, I really want to open up more about like what it's been like on this journey. And the songs, it's going to be called the Coming Home EP, as far as I'm aware. That's what...
I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
Do you already have a release date for it?
It's going to be early 2025.
Okay.
So by spring for sure.
Nice.
And I really like, as part of the project, is always thinking about how to include in this process some type of give back to humanity, really. And one of the most fulfilling shows I ever played was in Germany. We worked with a refugee camp out there, and we all played together, and they learned 3 songs from the Love for All album, and we performed it at a festival.
Cool.
Yeah.
With them?
Yeah.
On stage?
Yeah, so we had people from 9
so
countries on one stage. Yeah.
Wow. Now that's fulfillment.
That's the dream right there, is like being part of a community wherever we tour. Yeah. And how do you do that? How do you do that is a question, and that's what I want to figure out.
Okay. That's an awesome thing to look forward to. Beautiful. So keep an eye out for the record that's going to be coming out in 2025. Yeah. And if by the time this comes out, I'm not sure exactly when this episode's going to come out, but if ever there's a show coming up, I will link it in the description of the video so that they can find it wherever they are. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me. I've had such a great time. Thank you for inviting Matt. It was such a great experience to have him on as well. And keep an eye on for Sister Speak, guys.
Merci, enchanté.
Enchanté. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.